Hey everyone, Camille and James here from 88 Fitness Training. Today we want to talk about which exercise is the best for glute development. So we have the hip thrust, the squat, and the deadlift. So stay tuned to find out which one is the best. All right. We're going to start with the hip thrust. So there's a lot of misinformation out there, especially related to hip thrust. You see athletes doing like 315-pound hip thrusts at the gym, claiming that they got their glute development from it. I call BS on that one. So go ahead and get started. What's the number one thing James and I always tell you about muscle development? What is it, James?
Stretch position.
Yep, muscle has the most potential for growth in the stretched position while under load. So we are under load, we're lifting weight here, but as he comes down to this bottom position, there's no way his glutes are fully stretched in this position. He still has more range of motion he could go in, making this not the most effective exercise for glute development. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't do hip thrusts. I think you're going to trap a whole lot of blood into that glute so you really feel it, and I think that's where people go wrong. They say, hey, my buns are burning from this. And they're right? You're trapping that blood, you are burning, but you're not building muscle necessarily. What you're doing is you're activating those glute muscles. So this exercise has the most glute activation, but activation does not mean growth.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying not to do them. Definitely put them in your workout. For me, I like doing these first, right? Because it's helping me establish that mind muscle connection with the glutes. I'm flushing blood into the glutes. So it's really preparing me to do work for the rest of the workout. But that's where it stops. So definitely don't fall into that trap with all the fitness influencers on Instagram. You are not going to grow that dump truck doing nothing but hip thrust. So I would not rate this number one. Next exercise we're going to go through is the deadlift. I hear a lot of people say, hey, you know, I'm growing my glutes, I'm doing Romanian deadlifts, or I'm doing those stiff leg deadlifts. All right, well, let's walk through that and we'll find out here. So James is going to demonstrate this. He's going to do a Romanian deadlift. All right, so he's coming down. Now let's talk about which muscle is in the more lengthened position. Is it the glute or the hamstring? If you're doing these, you're going to know that it's the hamstring. It's the prime muscle mover. So there's no way that the glutes are in their fully stretched position if the hamstrings are in their fully stretched position. Now you are getting a lot of glute activation here, but activation doesn't mean muscle growth. So again, the Romanian deadlift is going to be more focused on hamstrings than it will be for glutes. So that does not make it the very best for the glute development. So we went through the hip thrusts, deadlifts, so that brings me to the last one and the best one, the barbell squat. All right, so James is going to get started and I'll show you why this is the number one. All right, so as we mentioned, muscle has the most potential for growth when it's stretched and under load. So when James drops down to the bottom of that squat, his glutes are fully stretched while under load. So this is going to be the number one, my number one for glute development. So if you want to grow that dump truck, you better get to squatting. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more like it, make sure you check out that leg day playlist. And as always, hit that like and subscribe. Camille and James, 88 Fitness Training.